Good morning, students. Today we are going to see about the chapter 2, problem number 22. Figure shows a charge array known as an electric quadrupole. For a point on the axis of the quadrupole, obtain the dependence of potential on R for R by A is very much greater than 1, and contrast your result with that due to an electric dipole and an electric monopole. So quadrupole means 4 charges. See in the diagram here, Q and minus Q and plus Q. So 4 charges are there. So it is a quadrupole, and P is a point outside these 4 charges. Outside these 4 charges. So the charges are named as X, Y and Z. At Y we are having both minus Q, 2 minus Q charges are there, and X plus Q, in Z also plus Q. The distance between Y to the point P will be small r. The distance from Y to this point P will be small r, and the distance between X and Y will be A, and Y and Z will also be A. Okay, so see here, the plus Q charge placed at point X and minus Q at point Y, and plus minus 2Q because 2 minus Q charges placed at Y, and then plus Q at point Z, so that XY and YZ is equal to A. YP is already, we know that as it will be R. So what will be PX? What will be Px? P is here and the distance X is here. So from P to X will be this R plus, P to X here. X is here. P to X means this R plus this A. So R plus A, and then next will be P to Z. P to Z. So that we have to find this distance P to Z. P to Z means total R minus this value will gives you that PZ. This gives you that PZ. Okay, so that will be R minus A. That will be R minus A. So we have find out all the values. Now we can go for the formula. Electrostatic potential V is equal to 1 divided by, for all the 3 charges, so 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q divided by XP minus 2Q divided by YP plus Q divided by ZP. Q divided by ZP. The values, all the values we are having here. Instead of XP, we are using R plus A. We are using R plus A here. XP or PX here. And then instead of YP, we are substituting the value of R here from here, and then instead of ZP, we are using that PZ value, R minus A. So Q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught into, if you cross multiply all these values, R plus A into R minus A. So find the LCM here. So that, see here, the downward values are multiplied here, and then if you find the LCM means R into R minus A minus 2 into R plus A into, we have taken the Q outside, all the Q outside, this Q and this Q and this Q is taken outside, so it is written here. So that R into R minus A minus 2 into R plus A into R minus A plus R into R plus A. So the final, after simplifying all these things, we have get it as Q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught into 2a squared here all the things get cancelled. Here this r squared, this r squared, and this r squared, 2r squared, and this minus 2r squared, everything gets cancelled, so that you will get and then remaining thing minus ra and plus ra also get cancelled. So the remaining only thing here is a squared. Remaining only thing here is a squared. Okay, so that 2a squared, this 2a squared value, 2a squared divided by r into r squared minus a squared, r squared minus a squared. So here if you write these two things together, 2 into q into a squared divided by 4 pi epsilon naught into 1 minus taking r squared outside, r here r is missing, here in this place r is missing, so that r into 1 minus a squared by r squared, a squared by r squared, and r squared also taken as LCM divided by r squared means r squared by r squared will becomes 1 minus a squared by r squared. R by a is very much greater than 1. So if you invert these things means a by r means a by r is very much less than 1. So a squared by r squared is taken negligible, a squared by r squared is taken negligible, so that v can be written as v is equal to 2qa squared divided by instead of this 1 minus a squared by r squared, a squared by r squared is negligible, so that 1r and another r squared divided by r squared means that r squared also taken, so r cube, we can write it as r cube, so that 2qa squared divided by 4 pi epsilon naught r cube. It can be inferred that potential V is equal to, V is proportional to 1 by r cube. V is proportional to 1 by r cube for quadrupole. If it is a dipole means V is proportional to 1 by r squared, and for a monopole means V is proportional to 1 by r. V is proportional to 1 by r. So if we go for the next sum, question number 23. An electrical technician requires a capacitance of 2 microfarad in a circuit across a potential difference of 1 kilovolt. A large number of 1 microfarad capacitors are available to him, each of which can withstand a potential difference of not more than 400 volts. Suggest a possible arrangement that requires the minimum number of capacitors. So, the technician requires 2 microfarad in the circuit. The potential difference should be 1 kilovolt. The potential difference should be 1 kilovolt. And the required capacitance should be 2 microfarad. But here the technician is having only 1 microfarad capacitors, lots of 1 microfarad capacitors, and the potential difference for this will be 400 volts only. So how many capacitors he required to make a circuit to make it as 2 microfarad? To make it as 2 microfarad, that is the question. Okay, so see here, the capacitance is taken as 2 microfarad, and V is equal to 1 kilovolt is equal to 1000 volts, and capacitance of each capacitor will be 1 microfarad, because we are having only 1 microfarad capacitors. So the potential difference will be V1 is equal to 400 volts. 400 volts. Suppose what is given here, we have to find it out whether we have to connect it in series or parallel, and how it should be connected. So the potential difference across each row must be 1000 volts. So each capacitor, potential difference of each capacitor is 400 volts only. So we have to make it out to 1000 volts. To make it out as 1000 volts and to find the number of capacitors, we have to divide the 1000 volts total potential divided by the potential difference of each capacitor. 400 will be 1000 by 400 is equal to 2.5. Hence there are 3 capacitors in each row. So we have find it out that 3 capacitors should be connected in each row. So capacitance of one row will be 1 divided by, because we are having only 1 microfarad capacitors. So 1 divided by 1 plus 1 plus 1 is equal to 1 divided by 3 microfarads. So there will be total number of n rows of capacitors will be there. N rows of capacitors will be there. So 1 by 3 equivalent capacitance of the circuit will be 1 by 3 plus 1 by 3 plus 1 by 3 is up to n terms. It gives you n by 3 numbers will be n by 3. So capacitance of the circuit is given as 2 microfarads. So n by 3 will gives you 2 microfarads 2. So yeah, n is equal to 3. If this 3 goes to this side, if this 3 goes to this side, multiply it by 2 means it will gives you 6. Hence 6 rows of 3 capacitors are present in the circuit. 6 rows of 3 capacitors are present in the circuit. So 6 into 3, 18 capacitors we need. In each row we are having 3 capacitors. So how many rows we need? So total number of rows will be 6. So 6 into 3 will give you 18 capacitors are required for the given arrangement to get 2 microfarads. That is the question asked here. Okay, so then we can go for question number 24. What is the area of the plates of a 2 farad parallel plate capacitor given that the separation between the two plates of the capacitor will be 0.5 centimeter. So here you will realize from your answer why ordinary capacitors are in the range of microfarads or less. What they are saying is normally we are using the capacitors in microfarads only. Here the capacitor is given in farads. From this answer we can find out why we are using a microfarad capacitors. So however, electrolytic capacitors do have a much larger capacitance because of very minute separation between the conductors. Okay, so capacitance of a parallel plate capacitors will be V is equal to 2 farads, and then distance D is equal to 0.5 centimeter. A centimeter can be converted into meter, means into 10 to the power of minus 2 meter. Okay, so capacitance of a parallel plate capacitor formula will be C is equal to epsilon naught A divided by D. If you want to find this A means bring this A to this side, this C, this if we keep the A this side and bring this D to this side means D and epsilon naught. D goes up and epsilon naught comes down. So that formula will be A is equal to CD divided by epsilon naught. So here epsilon naught will be the permittivity of the free space. So the value for the permittivity will be 8.85 into 10 to the power of minus 12 Coulomb squared, Newton inverse, meter inverse squared. So if you substitute the values in this formula means A is equal to C value will be 2. See here it is given that 2 into 0.5 into 10 to the power of minus 2 divided by 8.85 into 10 to the power of minus 12 will be equal to, the answer will be 1130 kilometer squared. So the area of the plates is too large. So to avoid this situation, the capacitance is taken in the range of microfarads. Is it possible to make a capacitor with this much of size? 1130 kilometer squared. Capacitance cannot be made. So that only we are using capacitance in the range of microfarads only. Okay, then we can go for the 25th sum. Obtain the equivalent capacitance of the network in the figure. For a 300 volt supply, determine the charge and voltage across each capacitor. Charge and voltage across each capacitor. So the potential supply is given here is 300 volts. So what are the capacitance given here? C1 of 100 picofarads and C2 of 200 picofarads, C3 of 200 picofarads and C4 of 100 picofarads. So these are the values given and the potential V is equal to 300 volts. So what is the thing is, here the capacitor C2 and C3 are connected in series and C1 or C4 are connected as shown in the diagram. Okay, so first we have to find the middle two things, equivalent capacitance. See here we have done capacitor C2 and C3 are connected in series. Their equivalent capacitance can be C dash, make it as C dash. So 1 by C dash is equal to 1 by C2 plus 1 by C3. What are all the C2 and C3 values? C2 and C3 values will be 200 picofarad. So 1 by 200 plus 1 by 200 is equal to 2 by 200. So C dash will be is equal to 100 picofarads. C dash will be 100 picofarads. Capacitor C1 and C dash are in parallel. Now, after combining these two things, C2 and C3 is combined, are in series and combined. So it will become parallel to the capacitor C1. It will become parallel to the capacitor C1. Okay. Parallel to the capacitor C1. So that we can take it as C1 and C dash are parallel. So their equivalent capacitance will be C2 dash, that can be represented as C2 dash. So C2 dash is equal to C dash plus C1. So this will be 100 and this will be C dash will be 100 picofarads and C1 will be 100, so that combined together will give you 200 picofarads. Now after combining these two things, this C2 and C3 are in series. If combined together, it will give you C dash, and this C dash and C1 becomes parallel to each other. C dash and C1 are parallel to each other, so that if you combine these two things, you will get C2 dash. This C2 dash and C4 dash, C2 dash and see here are connected in series. C2 dash and C4 are connected in series, so that the total capacitance, equivalent capacitance will be 1 by C is equal to 1 by C2 dash plus 1 by C4. 1 by C2 dash plus 1 by C4. 1 by C2 dash value will be 200 picofarads. We already know that C4 value in the diagram will be 100 picofarads. It will be 100 picofarads. So that here 100 picofarads. So that if you combine these two things and simplify, means you will get it as C is equal to 200 divided by 3. 200 divided by 3 picofarads. So hence the equivalent capacitance of the circuit is 200 divided by 3 picofarads. So potential difference across C2 dash is equal to V2 dash. C2 dash will be V2 dash, and across C4 will be V4. C4 will be V4. So that V2 dash plus V4 is equal to V is equal to 300 volts. V2 dash plus V4 is equal to V is equal to 300 volts. Already we know this value. So charge on C4 is given by charge on C4. The capacitance C4 will be given as Q4 is equal to CV. Q is equal to CV. Already we know this formula. Charge will be charge value Q is equal to CV formula. We know that. So from that Q4 is equal to C into V. So C value will be 200 divided by 3. We know it from here. 200 divided by 3 into 10 to the power of minus 12 to convert it into picofarads to farad. We have converted it into 10 to the power of multiply into 10 to the power of minus 12. V value will be 300. So that finally simplify means it will be 2 into 10 to the power of minus 8 coulombs. 2 into 10 to the power of minus 8 coulombs. So charge at Q4 will be 2 into 10 to the power of minus 8 coulombs. Then we can go for V4. V4 is equal to Q4 by C4. Q4 by C4. Q4 value already we have find it out, 2 into 10 to the power of minus 8. C4 will be 100 into 10 to the power of minus 12. 100 into 10 to the power of minus 12. So that if you simplify both these things, you will get it as 200 volts. So voltage across C1 is given by V1 is equal to V minus V4. V1 is equal to V minus V4. The V value will be 300 and V4 value will be 200. So if we subtract these two things, we will get it as 100 volts. Hence the potential difference V1 across C1 is 100 volts. So charge on C1 is given by Q1 is equal to C1 into V1 is equal to 100 into 10 to the power of minus 12 into 100. So you will get it as 10 to the power of minus 8 coulombs, 10 to the power of minus 8 coulombs. So C2 and C3 having same capacitance have a potential difference of 100 volts together. Since C2 and C3 are in series, the potential difference across C2 and C3 is given as. So here C2 and C3 are in series connection. In the diagram we know that these two things are in series connections. So that since C2 series connection, the potential difference across C2 and C3 is given by V2 is equal to V3 is equal to 50 volts. V2 is equal to V3 is equal to 50 volts. Therefore, the charge on C2 is given by Q2 is equal to C2 into V2. So C2 value will be 200 into 10 to the power of minus 12 into V2 will be 50. So that you will get it as 10 to the power of minus 8 coulomb. If we simplify, you will get it as 10 to the power of minus 8 coulomb. And charge on C3 is given by Q3 is equal to, this is Q3 is equal to C3 into V3. Q3 is equal to C3 into V3. That value will be 200 into 10 to the power of minus 12 into 50. So it will give you 10 to the power of minus 8 coulomb. Hence the equivalent capacitance of the given circuit is 200 by 3 picofarads with Q1 value will be 10 to the power of minus 8 coulomb, V1 value will be 100 volt, Q2 value will be 10 to the power of minus 8 coulomb, and Q3 value will also be 10 to the power of minus 8 coulomb. Q4 value will be 2 into 10 to the power of minus 8 coulombs, and V1 is equal to 100 volts, V2 is equal to 50 volts, V3 is equal to 50 volts, V4 is equal to 200 volts. So we have find out all the values for this sum. Then we can go for the 26th sum. The plates of parallel plate capacitor have an area of 90 centimeters square each and are separated by 2.5 millimeter. So the capacitor plates are separated by a distance of 2.5 millimeter. The capacitor is charged by connecting it to a 400 volt supply. The first question, A question is, how much electrostatic energy is stored by the capacitor? The B question is, view this energy as stored in the electrostatic field between the plates and obtain the energy per unit volume U. Hence, arrive at a relation between U and the magnitude of the electric field E between the plates. So, first we have written as area of the plate of the capacitor will be A is equal to 90 centimeter square. So 90 centimeter can be converted into meter, means into 10 to the power of minus 4 meter square. 90 into 10 to the power of minus 4 meter square. Distance between the plates will be D is equal to 2.5 millimeter. We have to convert it into meter, so into 10 to the power of minus 3. So 2.5 into 10 to the power of minus 3 meter. Potential difference will be V is equal to 400 volts. The first question asked is, first we are going to find out the capacitance. Capacitance formula C is equal to epsilon naught A divided by D. And the energy, electrostatic energy, U1 formula will be half CV squared. Half CV squared. Already we know the C value from this formula. We can substitute it as C value can be substituted as epsilon naught A divided by D into V squared. So here the epsilon naught will be the permittivity of a free space. The value will be 8.85 into 10 to the power of minus 12 coulomb square, Newton inverse, meter inverse squared. Here in the formula E1 we can substitute all the values. The E1 is equal to 1 by 1 into, so half, we are having half, so that 1 into epsilon naught value 8.85 into 10 to the power of minus 12, and then A value 90 into 10 to the power of minus 4, and then B value 400 the whole square, divided by 2 into D value 2.5 into 10 to the power of minus 3. So that if you simplify these things, you will get the answer as 2.55 into 10 to the power of minus 6 joules. Energy can be written in joules. Hence, the electrostatic stored in the capacitor is 2.55 into 10 to the power of minus 6 joules. So volume, and second question will be volume of the given capacitor We are going to derive the second question. So volume of the given capacitor V dash is equal to A into D. A into D. A value 90 into 10 to the power of minus 4 and D value will be 25 into 10 to the power of minus 3. Multiplying these two things, simplify, you will get it as 2.25 into 10 to the power of minus 4 meter cube. Okay, so energy stored in the capacitor per unit volume is given by U. So what is the energy stored in the capacitor per unit volume? So that can be represented as U. U is equal to E1 by B dash. E1 by B dash. E1 already we have calculated as 2.55. We have calculated as 2.55 into 10 to the power of minus 6. B dash value we have calculated as 2.25 into 10 to the power of minus 4. So substitute these two values and simplify, you will get the answer as 0.113 joule meter inverse cube. So this can be written in another way. So U is equal to E1 by B dash. E1 by B dash. E1 formula will be half CV squared. Half CV squared, and then B dash value will be A into D. A into D. Here we are having B dash is equal to A into D. E1 is equal to half CV squared. Substitute these two values here. Half CV squared divided by AD. Half CV squared divided by AD. So you will get it as epsilon naught. Instead of C, we can substitute epsilon naught A divided by 2D into V squared. This A and A will get cancelled. So the remaining values epsilon naught V by D the whole squared values we will get. So where V by D is the electric intensity, that can be written as E. So that U is equal to half into epsilon naught E squared. Here we are having the value. We have find out the value. Here the formula for the energy stored in the capacitor per unit volume. Total formula for this value will be U is equal to half into epsilon naught E squared. Okay, this is about the 26th sum. Then we can go for the 27th sum. A 4 microfarad capacitor is charged by a 200 volt supply. It is then disconnected from the supply and is connected to another uncharged 2 microfarad capacitor. First, the capacitor value will be 4 microfarad. It is charged by a 200 volt supply. Later on, it is disconnected and then it is connected to uncharged capacitor of 2 microfarads. How much electrostatic energy of the first capacitor is lost in the form of heat and electromagnetic radiation? We have to find out the how much heat and electromagnetic radiation is lost. Okay, so how much electrostatic energy of the first capacitor is lost in the form of heat and electromagnetic radiation. So electrostatic energy is lost in the form of heat and electromagnetic radiation. So C1 will be 4 microfarad. 4 microfarad can be written in farad by multiplying it with 10 to the power of minus 6. So that 4 into 10 to the power of minus 6 farads. Voltage V1 will be 200 volts. So E1 is equal to half into C1 V1 squared formula. Okay, so substitute the values of C1. It will be 4 into 10 to the power of minus 6 and V1 value will be 200 the whole square. So final answer will be 8 into 10 to the power of minus 2 joules. So then we have to find out the capacitor of the uncharged capacitors. So C2 is equal to 2 microfarads. 2 into 10 to the power of minus 6 farads. Microfarad is converted into farads. So again, what we are doing, we are changing the capacitor and connecting in the circuit. The potential V2 will be occurred, so that C1 is equal to the capacitor C1 is equal to the final charge on the capacitor C1 and C2. So that the potential V2 can be written as C1 plus C2 is equal to C1 into V1. So that see here V2 into C1 will be 4 and C2 will be 2 into 10 to the power of minus 6, because we have to convert it into farad, is equal to C1 value will be 4 into 10 to the power of minus 6 and V1 value will be 200. If you simplify all these things, you will get the answer as V2 is equal to 400 divided by 3V. 3V. So electrostatic energy for the combination of two capacitors is given by E2 is equal to half into C1 plus C2 into V2 squared. C1 plus C2 into V2 squared. If you substitute the values in this formula, C1 value will be 2 and C2 value will be 4. So into 10 to the power of minus 6 into 400 divided by 3. V2 value will be 400 by 3. 400 by 3 the whole square. Simplify, we will get the answer as 5.33 into 10 to the power of minus 2 joules. So amount of electrostatic energy lost by the capacitor C1 is equal to, so we have find out the energy E1 and E2. E1 and E2. E1 is found as 8 into 10 to the power of minus 2 joules, and E2 can be found as E2 is equal to 5.33 into 10 to the power of minus 2 joules. That is simplified, written in the simplified form, and simplify it means you will get the answer as 2.67 into 10 to the power of minus 2 joules. So this is the amount of electrostatic energy lost by the capacitor C1. So we have find the answer for question number 27. Now we can go for question number 28. Show that the force on each plate of a parallel plate capacitor has a magnitude equal to half QE, where Q is the charge on the capacitor and E the magnitude of electric field between the plates. So explain the origin of the factor half. Origin of the factor half. What is the thing given here? So force on the each plate of a parallel plate capacitor has a magnitude equal to half QE, where Q what is Q? Q charge on the capacitor and E magnitude of the electric field between the plates. Now let F be the force applied to separate the plates of a parallel plate capacitor by a distance of delta X. How far we are going to separate? We are going to separate the plates to a distance delta X. Work done by the force will be force to do so will be F into delta X. That is force into the distance displacement. Displacement will be delta X. Distance moved will be displacement. It will be delta X. So the potential energy of the capacitor increases by the amount U into A into delta X. U into A into delta X. Then what is U? U will be the energy density and A will be the area of the plate, and D the distance between the plates, and V the potential difference across the plates. V the potential difference across the plates. So that work done will be equal to, work done formula will be F into delta X, and it will be equal to the increase in potential energy, that will be U into A into delta X. U into A into delta X. F into delta X will be equal to U into A into delta X. So that F is equal to, so here this delta X and this delta X will get cancelled, so that you will get the formula as F is equal to U into A. F is equal to U into A. So here the U value will be half into epsilon naught E squared. Epsilon naught E squared. So this A, again this A will gets here. So electric intensity is given by E is equal to V by D. E is equal to V by D. Already we know this value. So instead of this E, we are going to substitute these values of V by D. So that F is equal to epsilon naught into V by D into E into A. E into A. So that you will get the simplify the things means you will get it as half into epsilon naught A into V by D into E. V by D into E. So that the capacitance C is equal to epsilon naught A divided by D. C is equal to epsilon naught A divided by D. Here we are having the values epsilon naught A divided by D. Instead of that, we can substitute the value of C. So that F is equal to half into CV into E. Half into CV into E. But we know that CV will be the charge Q, charge and the capacitor Q, so that CV can be written as Q. CV can be written as Q, so that F is equal to half into Q into E. Q into E. So the physical origin of the factor half in the force formula lies in the fact that just outside the conductor field is E and inside it is 0. Outside the conductor it will be E and inside it will be 0. Hence it is the average value E by 2 of the field that contributes to the force. This is about the 28th question. Now we can go for question number 29. A spherical capacitor consists of two concentric spherical conductors. So this is a one concentric circle spherical conductor and this is one more spherical conductor. See here, two concentric spherical conductors held in a position suitable insulating supports. So that the capacitance of a spherical capacitor is given by C is equal to 4 pi epsilon naught R1 R2 divided by R1 minus R2. R1 R2 divided by R1 minus R2. See here, so this R1, the R1 is the distance from this point to this point, and R2 will be the distance from this center point to this point. So this is the R1 and R2 are the radii of the outer and inner spheres respectively. Outer sphere radius will be R1, inner sphere radius will be R2. So radius of the outer shell is equal to R1 and radius of the inner shell is R2, and inner surface of the outer shell has a charge of plus Q. Inner surface of the outer shell, this is the outer shell, this is the outer shell. Inner surface of the outer shell will have the charge plus Q, and then outer surface of the inner shell, outer surface of the this is the inner shell, this is the inner shell, and this is the outer surface of the inner shell. So outer surface of the inner shell charge will be minus Q. So that formula can be written as potential difference between the two shells V is equal to Q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught R2 minus Q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught R1, R2 minus R1. So that this can be simplified and written as epsilon naught will be the permittivity of free space, and this equation, this one R2 and R1 is taken inside. The remaining constant values are taken out, so that we can be written as Q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught into 1 by R2 minus 1 by R1. If you take LCM, then you will get it as Q into R1 minus R2, R1 minus R2 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught R1 R2, 4 pi epsilon naught R1 R2. So capacitance of the given system C is equal to charge Q divided by potential difference, charge Q divided by potential difference. Then what is the value of charge Q? It will be 4 pi epsilon naught R1 R2, 4 pi epsilon naught R1 R2, and the charge value will be R1 and R2. Charge value can be, potential difference can be written as R1 minus R2. So hence it is proved. Okay, so this is about the question number 29. So today we have completed the problems. We can see the remaining thing in the next class.